So I've been an Arkham YouTuber for almost 10 years now, and one comment I have seen probably more than any other, I've seen this comment thousands, if not tens of thousands of times, is something to the effect of the following, which is, we need to move away from Batman and making more Batman games. I want different games. I want Superman, I want Green Lantern, I want The Flash. We need to move away from Batman. He's already had 4 games, blah, blah, blah. You know, you've probably seen these comments either in my comment section or other people's or on Twitter. And what we're seeing as a result of Suicide Squad Kill the Justice League losing $200 million is that it's not an option to get other games from Warner Brothers right now. Because if you look in the last 15 years, the only good games that Warner Brothers has released from the DC Gaming brand is Batman Arkham, right? Batman Arkham Asylum, City, Night, and Origins are all phenomenal games, at least 8 out of 10s in my opinion. And you look at Injustice, it's good, not as good as Batman Arkham. I would give it somewhere in the range of between a 6 and a 7. Very different games, hard to compare. But then you look at Gotham Knights, which I would also rate 5 or 6. Suicide Squad Kill the Justice League is absolutely horrible. It is a blight on the DC Gaming brand. It is an embarrassment, frankly. And so what people are saying, think about how ridiculous what people are saying is what they're saying is, hey, the people who made Suicide Squad Kill the Justice League, at best a 3 out of 10, maybe a 2. I'd put it probably between a 1 and a 2. I think in my last video I gave it a 3. I think that was too kind. I would probably give it a 1.5, maybe a 1.75, somewhere in that range out of 10. And so what we're saying is we want those people who have only been successful at doing one thing, making Batman Arkham. And let's have them make the most complicated and difficult video game of all time, Superman. Making a good Superman next-gen game would be the most difficult video game ever made to actually execute. It would be however difficult you think it is to make Grand Theft Auto, which it is difficult, of course, because it's a huge map and all that. Making a good Superman game is infinitely more difficult for reasons I don't need to mention. The character is so fucking OP, it's difficult to make gameplay mechanics for a character that's that OP. Now, is it possible to make a good Superman game? Yes, it's possible. Can WB do it? No, they can't. I would love for them to be able to do it, but they can't. And the evidence for that is all that they've done since Batman Arkham Knight came out. All flops, all duds, more or less, to varying extents. Some games are mid, right? Some are mid. Gotham Knights as a game is mid. It sold. It was a flop from a sales perspective. Suicide Squad Kill the Justice League is a flop from both perspectives of sales and game quality. And Injustice, I would say, as a franchise, is fairly mid. And from a sales perspective was also mid. Okay? And so when we look at tasking any of these studios with making a Superman game, I mean, I'm sorry, what is the evidence that they can pull that off? There is no evidence that they can do that. The only thing that I believe that they can do is recycle more Arkham games. That's it. I do not trust them to do anything else. Even Gotham Knights, which the whole concept is, it's like kind of Arkham, but we're like, the gameplay is a little bit different, and it's in a different universe. So it's kind of like separated, but it's a similar free flow combat system, whatever. They screwed that up for the most part, right? And there's redeeming qualities about the game, right? There's no question about that. And it's kind of grown on me a little bit. I actually want to replay it soon. But I just don't, it sounds good. The whole idea, the concept of, okay, Batman's had his time. Let's get other games. Let's do other things. Batman's had his chance. Let's evolve and do other things and try different games. And it sounds nice. It sounds like the right thing to do. It sounds like the right thing to say. Sorry, I dropped my keys. But let's look at the reality of it. Again, the reality is that we're talking about a publisher, a studio, a corporation that has completely destroyed this brand. The DC Gaming brand is a disaster, an unmitigated catastrophe. It is a abomination. What they have done to this franchise to start from Batman Arkham, Asylum City, Origins, and Night, and to take it to where it is now. with Suicide Squad Killed the Justice League and what they did in that game, it's not even laughable. I mean, it's embarrassing. That's the only word you can use to describe it. And so, I hear things on Twitter as, oh, but Rocksteady's not passionate about making these games. They don't want to make Arkham anymore. I don't really care. I mean, I'm sorry. We gave you your chance to follow your passion project. More reports are coming out now that this was their idea and that WB didn't even want them to do Suicide Squad. They were fighting with WB to make a live service Suicide Squad game. Okay, so we followed you down your road to the end of where it goes, and it doesn't go anywhere good. So I don't really care where you want to take it. I'm sorry, but I mean, they're just tweeting today. I mean, how tone deaf are they? They're tweeting, we have a new update coming for Suicide Squad Kill the Justice League. Who cares? Nobody's playing the game. There's 100 people playing it right now. I mean, I'm sorry, but... And so, oh, we don't want to make Batman anymore. We're tired of that. We already did... We blah, 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 blah. It's recycled. It's rehashed. Okay, but listen. Our choice is getting nothing or getting horrible games like Suicide Squad Kill the Justice League or recycling Batman Arkham and just reskinning it. Obviously you can't use Kevin Conroy anymore, but getting Roger Craig Smith in. And honestly, here's what you do. If you're in charge of Warner Brothers, this is the only move you can make. Any other move is a bad idea and should be scrutinized. Is have every Warner Brothers, W Montreal, Rocksteady, etc., have them reskin new Arkham games, make Arkham Origins 2, make Arkham Knight prequel, whatever. Okay? Do all this and bring in like Paul Dini or Bruce Timm, somebody like this to write the story. And that's it. Bring in somebody, bring in Paul Dini to write the story for the games. Have Rocksteady basically just reskin, add a few new elements and gameplay dynamics of, oh, okay, well, we had the Batmobile in Arkham Knight. Now this game, we have the Batwing or whatever. Just add some shit in there to make it, marketing, and put the Batwing on the trailer and put it in the poster. I still have the poster in my room of Arkham Knight. It's literally a giant ass Batmobile. It was the GameStop poster. It's like 90% Batmobile and 10% Batman. They the marketing for that game was literally like, hey, did you know we had a Batmobile? Like Batmobile? That was literally just the marketing of Arkham Knight was Batman Arkham Batmobile. But it worked. The game sold well. It made money. It didn't lose $200 million like Suicide Squad Kill the Justice League, so that's something. But that's really where I would go with this, honestly. Bring in Paul Dini. Write Arkham City 2. Write Arkham Origins 2. Release a new game every year or two. Make it like FIFA or Call of Duty. And why do I want this? In theory, in a perfect world, is that sentiment of let's move on from Arkham, let's make other games. Yeah, that's a fine sentiment. But in reality, they can't execute it. They can't do it. And people don't understand that. They're not grasping that they cannot pull it off. So why would we assign Mission Impossible and just set people up for failure when we know that the team that currently exists can make Batman Arkham Origins 2? We know they can do it because they did it 10 years ago, right? But to task them with all this innovation and doing all these new things and new elements, new characters, new gameplay dynamics, whatever, I mean, it didn't work. It didn't work. We tried Gotham Knights. We tried Suicide Squad Kill the Justice League. We tried their creative vision of what they want to do. No more. That's it. Again, this is where it gets really complicated, I guess, because there is a big sentiment on social media and everything of like, it's all about the devs and what they want, and all these mean companies and corporations are, forcing the studios to do. And in many cases, that's true. I mean, you look at all the nonsense with Microsoft and all this bullshit. I mean, I'm not simping for these big companies, but what I am saying is, if I'm looking at Warner Brothers' perspective, from a corporate perspective, is okay. We let W Montreal and we let Rocksteady do what they wanted to do, and it lost us hundreds of millions of dollars. I don't know if you guys know this, but when you release a game, it's supposed to make money. Uh, it's supposed to make money. It's not supposed to lose money. You're not supposed to spend 10 years of everybody's life, hundreds of people's lives, wasting making a game that 100 people play that loses money. I mean, nobody's happy. The fans aren't happy. The devs aren't happy. The studio's not happy. Okay, so their vision of what they're trying to do doesn't work. And now's the time for somebody, a Kevin Feige person of sorts, to step in and say, okay, here's what we're going to do, right? Here's the vision. Here's what's going to happen. Here's how we get this back on track. Because ultimately, at this point, you just have to revive the brand. And if tomorrow they announced, oh, we're making a Superman game, I wouldn't be excited. If Rocksteady tomorrow announced a Superman game, I would not be excited. How could you be? How could you look at Suicide Squad Kill the Justice League and be excited for anything that they make going forward? But if they recycle Batman Arkham Knight, add in the Batwing, add in 2 gadgets, and have Paul Dini write the story, okay, they can pull that off. They can do that because they already basically have done 90% of the work. They already have the code of the gameplay. They already have blah, blah, blah. The story, they probably can't do that, but bring in Paul Dini to do it. But that's the situation of where we're at. That's the reality. And am I happy that that's the case? No. Do I want a Flash game? Yes. Do I want a Superman game? Yes. But not from Warner Brothers in 2024. Not in 2026. Not until there's evidence that they can do it. And that's all I'm saying is we waited 10 years for a game that Rocksteady couldn't do. I mean, they did it. The game shipped, but it was horrible. Right? And so I only want to see a game from them that I think they can do, that I think they can execute. And at this point, I think that's Batman Arkham Knight 2 or Batman Arkham Origins 2. That's what I trust Rocksteady. I mean, anything else, any new IP, any new character, any Flash, Green Lantern, Superman, I'm out. Not because I don't want it. Not because in a perfect world I don't want it. But because they can't. I don't think they can do it. I really, truly don't. And I'm not trying to be a dick. But let's just get real. Let's get real. Are we saying that we want Warner Brothers, who hasn't done anything right in the last 10 years, to make a crack at the most difficult game ever made, Superman? It doesn't make sense to me. And so I think you turn Batman. If I'm in charge, I turn Batman Arkham into FIFA, drop a new one, or Call of Duty, release a new one every single year, maybe every other year, every second year, and just release 2 or 3 good Arkham games. And then you're back in the game, at least. Pun intended. You're back. People are like, okay, these people can make good games. And then from there, we'll see what happens. But until then, I'm sorry, but it's the brutally honest truth that this is where we're at.